Oh, good.
We're going chasing.
Hello, dear, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Hello, now, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Now, we have a lot on the agenda, lads, so we'll cut the chase and get straight down to the business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of We're Going Chasing. We're lucky enough to have Rob Acheson from Robcour here with us today. Rob, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, delighted to be here, lads, as always. If people are looking at my name wondering why it's down as nepotism, it's because a good pal of mine on Twitter who I've never interacted with, Garrod, has gotten very upset the last couple of weeks that I might be on doing a couple of previews at lads, trying to inform lads better horses. But sure, look, can't please everyone, can you?
No, you certainly can't. You certainly can't. You're looking forward to Cheltenham, man. You're not too far away. Are you going to be over there for the week, or what's your plan?
I'll definitely be over Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll have to see with work if I can get the Tuesday, but I haven't even tried to sound that out yet. I was just counting. I was counting the wins, getting the 3 days. So we'll see anyway.
Okay, very good. We'll get on into it, so we won't hold you for too long. I suppose the right place to start off is the Stayers Hurdle. Big Grade 1, you have the top two horses there in the market at the moment, Irish Point and Chupu. There's been a lot of talk over the last day or two with everything going on about Constitution Hill that Irish Point may be champion hurdle bound. Are you able to shed any light on that for us?
As things stand, no, I can't, unfortunately. We're going to have a conversation about it next week. If people are wondering, we're recording on Wednesday, the 28th of February. And
what time is it?
It's 20 to 7 for full transparency, yeah. And look, if you asked me 2 days ago, we all would have said, look, they're both definitely going to run the Stayers. Like, you wouldn't have even thought about running Irish Point in the champion hurdle if the two lads were going to turn up fitting well, because you'd be hoping for two horses to underperform. Whereas if it's one, I suppose if you had both of them in the Stayers and State Man ran below himself, you'd be fairly kicking yourself that you didn't throw Irish Point into the champion hurdle now. But so it's probably far more likely now than it was on Monday night. But it's still, there's nothing decided as of yet. And when it is decided next week, sure, we'll let people know straight away so they can either cash out or back someone else or do whatever they want, just so they can hopefully save a few quid or make a few quid.
Okay, very good. And before we move on to Chupu, actually, just while we're speaking about the champion hurdle, was there any conversation there at all about Bob Ollinger possibly being supplemented or anything like that? Or is there any chance of that? Or is that...
It was a small conversation, brief, but no, we're going to stick to the plan for Aintree, just in terms of, we have Irish Point in it already. I know they've said Lossiemouth isn't going today, so he's third favourite for it now. If Con Hill doesn't turn up, he'd be second favourite. Would you really? Stateman had Bob covered at Leopardstown, so is it really worth paying the supplementation fee just because he'd kind of fall within the same boat as Irish Point and hoping that Stateman had run below himself to try and win the race? So I'd say no, we're definitely not going. We're sticking to Aintree. Hopefully he can get his day in the sun there again, which would be a brilliant day for us, a brilliant day for Bob, considering where he has been the last sort of 18 months.
Yeah, brilliant. And that trip at Aintree, that intermediate trip, seems to be right up his street too. So we look forward to following that closer to the time. And now finally, on to Chupu. The third time mentioning him, but we'll eventually get to talk about him here. Favourite for the Stayers, ran very well there last year. A few things happened in running, possibly unlucky on the day. But he's back there after taking a different route there this year. And is everybody happy with him?
Yeah, oh Jesus, delighted with him. He went after Fairy House. He had a break off for a month in Robbie Powers to freshen up. So he's a good all break, and I think everyone knows he runs breast fresh. I said it in the video at the start of the season. We kind of think the Gallimite took the edge off him for the Stayers. And then someone's after telling me a stat today that he's run 7 times off a break of 50 days or more, and he's won 7 times off a break of 50 days or more. So he there's a clear trend that he's best fresh. He's a bigger and stronger horse than he was this time last year. He'd be our best chance of a winner. If we're going to have one, it's going to be him, I'd say.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Bullish enough. Considering that you've got such a great hand there, over the week.
Yeah, sure. Look, it is what it is. You just hope for a bit of dig in the ground on the day, just to give him every chance. But look, he has a great chance. We don't punt our horses, but if I was to punt a horse or tip a horse, it'd be him for the week. Yeah.
No, I think that's fair enough, and I suppose keep him with the staying hurdlers. Hidden Valley Lake, he was a very good winner at the Boyne Hurdle. He's gone back over hurdles, haven't had a run over fences. Is he going to go to Cheltenham? I know the Coral Cup was mentioned.
We were thinking about it, but no, we're gonna go straight to Aintree now and go to the 3 mile hurdle there. I know Killian, you'd be friendly enough with the man Aidan that runs Irish National Hunt Tips. He'd be a very good judge now, but he came up with the theory that he's running over hurdles because we didn't want to lose his novice status this late in the season. Which is fair enough to think, but it's just really the fact he's not able to jump a fence. Like he's comically bad over him at home. If we're going to give him another chance next season with them, just to try and school the shit out of him over the summer. If people remember a couple of years ago, there was a horse of ours from House, Indiana Jones. He fell 3 times in a row over fences and his confidence was completely lost. He went to Robbie's over the summer and Robbie, he hasn't put a foot wrong since. So hopefully if we're going to be able to get him over a fence again next season, then Robbie will be the man to do the job. But he's not running over fences because he simply cannot jump a fence. It's nothing to do with novice status. But yeah, it's handy enough to split them all up like for the rest of the season. Like Bob will go to Aintree, Irish Point and Teahupoo. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the two of them. In 2 weeks' time. But then you could look at something like the French champion hurdle with Teahupoo. That's probably the race. If he's going to run after Cheltenham, he'll run in that. Irish Point could then have the option of the Punchestown Stairs, and that's handy enough to split them up. Hidden Valley Lake to Aintree. So I know there's been a notion about poor race planning, but combined between the 4 of them, there's 6 out of 7 over hurdles, 6 graded races, 1 runner up in an Irish champion hurdle. So if that's poor race planning, then Jesus, we were doing terrible the last couple of years.
Okay, I think that's fair enough, and that might nip that piece in the bud. But coming away from your open company hurdlers and into a novice one horse, I really like Slade Steele. Ran a really good race at the Dublin Racing Festival. Just mightn't have the toe for 2 miles. Looks like he's going to line up in the Bearing Bingham.
Yeah, Jesus, he's really been the shining light of our novice hurdlers this year. Like they've been wicked disappointing. If you took him out of it, it's been a shocking season for us for novice hurdlers. But so actually, look, it means plenty of them will go chasing next year anyway. But yeah, no, he's really been the shining light. He's very unlucky to have run into Ballyburn now. So it's in an ideal world, we'd probably, if we were asked which one we'd like to line up in, the Supreme or the Bearing Bingham, it'd probably be the Bearing Bingham, but it might just end up being we'll turn up where Ballyburn doesn't, because look, we know we've ran against him twice, he's beaten us twice, so it's probably going to be an avoid him mission. But sure, look, we'll see what happens close to the time. So I can't actually. We're probably just going to go where he doesn't, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I suppose like he's going to be a short price wherever he goes, and as you said, you're 0 for 2 against him. And I think if Ballyburn does go out and win a Supreme, you're on a short priced horse, I suppose, in the old Ballymore.
Yeah. The one thing I'd say about him now, and I just think something. I think he's going to be a better horse next year. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes off short enough for either race, whichever one he ends up in. and something just doesn't for a small bit of class. So like I wouldn't wherever he goes, I wouldn't be tearing into him now. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope he ends up being the classiest horse in either race. But I think he's a real grinder rather than a class act, if you get me.
And speaking of grinders, actually, Rob, one that I'd probably put into that classification as well would be Cheltenham. You know, she seems to be a real genuine mare. You know, we saw there at Leopardstown at Christmas, she battled on very well to beat Cargeese. Now, Cargeese has since went on and turned the form around. But again, even at the Dublin Racing Festival, like Cheltenham, like she looked maybe, you know, around turning into the home straight and maybe a bit past that she was going to fall away, but she didn't. You know, she really fought back, and she wasn't that far behind Cargeese at all in the end. I think it was only about 2 or 3 lengths. You know, so what would her chances be in March, do you reckon?
Yeah, no, as said at the start, it's the point of doing these is trying to help lads either cash out bets or might help back something else. But the plan as things stand is she's not going to travel over to Cheltenham. We are going to, if you look at, I agree with you, she looked like she was going to fall out the back of the TV in Leopardstown the last day, but she really ran on. She was looking better the further they were going. I don't think she'd have the toe for 2 miles over hurdles. So what we're going to do is in an ideal world, we'll go to Auteuil in May for the 2.5 mile 4-year-old grade 1 there. And in order to see if she fully gets to 2.5 miles now, we're looking at the grade 1 mare's novice hurdle in Ferryhouse for her. She'd be getting a £10 4-year-old allowance. 4-year-olds have a super record of the last 10 years. There have been 4 that have ran in it. 2 have won, 1 has finished 2nd, and the other finished 7th or 8th. So yeah, it's particularly with the proximity of the 2 races together in terms of the mare's novice hurdle in Cheltenham and the mare's grade 1 in Ferryhouse. It makes a bit of sense, like, because it's using it as a platform to see if you spend the money to go over to France, and you should have a good chance going fresh enough to a grade 1.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. All right. She does look like she'd be very happy over that intermediate trip. But you know, we'll soon find out. Another horse that's been eye-catching for yourselves this year is Saint Felician. I see he's entered in both the Grand Annual and the Plate. And you know, he's some very nice form this year behind Facile Vega, Indiana Dream at Navan. Then again, the last 2 runs at Gorn, he was bet by Tactical Move, and then, to be fair, he eventually got off the mark and shed his beginner's chase tag, we'll say, the last day out, beating Aim Deji, if I've pronounced that name right. But to be fair, he had ran very well in those chases up until that point, and you know, he fully deserved you know, that victory, and it was long overdue, really.
Yeah, it was long overdue. Now, I know we were keeping him in the best of company, but I can't quite see him. He will travel. He will travel.
Okay.
He's probably odds on to run in the Plate.
In the Plate, right. He's about
But
12 to 1 for that, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, he is. He's off 146 over there. Do I think he's been a small bit disappointing, to be honest with you? Like, is it? I know in Cullincher they always thought the world of him. He went off favourite for a Carroll Cup. He pulled up that day. He's just ended up. Don't know if he'll have enough in hand off 146 to go and win a Plate. But we'll see anyway. Look, if he could run into the places and pick up a few quid in prize money, you'd be delighted. But I'd say there's a lot more horses with a few pounds in hand than he has probably.
So Rob, the next one on our list is a new acquisition, Phil Dorr. He's looking like he's going to run the Ryanair.
Yeah, he goes to the Ryanair. His form this season has been very good. He finished 2nd behind the 2 best 2 mile chasers in Ireland in Dino Blue and El Fabiolo. If he gets, it's a big question mark as to whether he'll get the trip. He's ran over 2.5 miles twice before. They were last season, I think, and he was disappointing. But look, he's a year older, stronger. If he brings that form he brought earlier on into the season, getting the trip, geez, he should have a great chance, really. Like, but again, trip questionable each way bet. Wouldn't be confident because you don't know about the trip.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. But he does seem to have a good chance, and he is unexposed going up and trip then. So the last two horses on our list is the biggest race of the week, and it'd be remiss of us to start anywhere bar the Mouse's grey horse here.
And before you get into this, Rob, we've strict rules and guidelines here on the podcast that we only speak positively about Mouse Morris and Gentleman's Game. So if you've anything negative to say, you may keep your mouth shut and move on to Gerri Colombe, because we only want to hear positive.
Jesus, what? Jesus, no. Sure, I wouldn't. I'd say nothing negative about either. If you remember, I tipped him up for the RSA on your first ever podcast at 33-1.
Yeah, big fan.
Jeez, it's a pity he didn't get there being 16-1 for a Gold Cup now, isn't it?
Yeah, so the big question is, how far does Gentleman's Game win by?
Yeah, that's first.
Is what we need to know.
Depends. Is he starting now?
No. He'd start at the same time as the rest of them. I assume. I don't know what Mouse has got up his sleeve, but I assume he will start the same. Yeah, Mouse.
I can tell you, it's a pack of majors.
Yeah, well, sure. Look, if Gentleman's Game is a heavy smoker, and it's definitely second-hand smoke he's inhaling, but like I'd say he's flying it, and that the few fags in the morning before the race when he's saddling the horse up should leave him spot on.
Yeah, no, look, he is a great chance now. Look, it's not a great chance when he's a great chance to run into the first three. All he does is jump and gallop. He is a wicked jumper over the fence. He's magic over him. Like he'd be a much quicker horse through the air and after his fence than Gerri'd be. They're kind of two different horses in that respect. But no, look, he's going with an each way chance. He's plenty unexposed. If someone's able to tell me the last horse that won a Gold Cup on their fourth run over fences, it might have been, what's his name, a couple of years ago. One of his novice, Coney Gray. I don't know how many runs he had before prior to the Gold Cup. But Jesus, no, Mouse would look he is one of the best trainers of all time that I've ever come across, in my opinion. But he'd certainly look into the rest of the world as well then.
Yeah, I think, look, it should be unbelievable to see Gentleman's Game win, not only for the Mouse but for my own personal pocket, which would be very, very good.
You had him up at 66-1 to start of the year, didn't you? In your
I did, yeah. Yes.
First anti-post video you did.
Yeah, it was good. It was a bit of value anyway, I suppose.
Was that before or after Gorn?
It was after Gorn, before Weatherby.
Before he thundered Charlie Hall. Yeah, that was a great day.
Nice. Before that famous day. But I suppose we'll move on to Gerri Colombe then. And I think coming into the season, he was, a lot of people sort of picked to rival Galopin Deschamps. And like he's had the two runs. He's won a grade one. He's been second in another, but yet he's been fairly written off, I think, in the last couple of months. And I think it's a bit unfair because he is going to bridge the gap, and like he's a very classy horse, and he is a dour stayer as well.
Yeah, no, it's look, he had a great start to the season. He was the only horse in it without a run, and it was a great day. Leopardstown. Don't think it was his true running, but even if he's 10 pounds to a stone better, if Galopin Deschamps turns up in Cheltenham the same form he turned up in Leopardstown on the 28th, we're not beating him. But look, you still go there. You still go there with an each way chance. There's probably a couple of horses now you could make a case for ahead of the two of ours, but if you're not there, you're giving yourself no chance. It's a Gold Cup after all. It's a funny old race. You don't see many horses doing two in a row, but if you're to back one to do it in the next couple of years, it would probably be Galopin Deschamps.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. And I've got some fantastic news. Coney Gray won the Gold Cup on his fourth start over fences.
Did he?
So
nice.
The stats are on the Mouse's side.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rob, you've told us that your best chance of the week, just to wrap it up, is Chupu. So somebody having a fiver, that's what they're looking at for the stairs. Out of everything else, if you were to give us a next best, and I'm putting you on the spot here, would there be one there that comes to your mind?
No, I only think we'll have one winner.
Okay, very optimistic of you.
As
But
usual.
Rob, yeah, as usual. Rob, thanks very much for joining us again. You've been a great supporter of the podcast. Obviously, we had you on at the start of the year and the start of last year as well. So it's great to get a lowdown on your runners there for the Cheltenham Festival. The very best of luck for the week. We hope you have Chupu and another winner or two along with it. Touch wood. But again, thanks very much for joining us, and all the best.
Sorry, do we not want to mention Ain't That a Shame? Like, I thought all great Cheltenham anti-post videos or previews talked about how shit the festival was and how great the Grand National was. or is that just me? Like,
I don't know about that one. I think that could be just you. That's not something that we've spoken about here anyway before.
Yeah.
But,
I know. Thanks for having me on, lads. Thanks for having me on.
We leave that one to another day. Thanks very much, Rob.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore racing through the duo.